If you're a mental health professional, you already know this isn't just a job. You sit with people in some of their hardest and darkest moments of their lives. You witness pain that you can't fix. You hear stories that don't have nice, neat endings. Or there's the crisis that you never saw coming, and somehow you have to help your clients hold it. And if this work has ever felt heavy, not just tiring or exhausting, but like heavy in your bones, I want you to hear this. You are a steward of trauma, and you deserve to be honored for the weight that you are carrying. Hello and welcome. My name is Betsy Dwight, and I support helpers and mental health professionals to stay grounded and resourced so that you can continue to do this meaningful work without losing yourself in the process. Today's video is for anyone who feels that overwhelmed feeling, that drained feeling, like the emotional load of this work has started to spill into the other areas of your life. Because this isn't another lecture on self-care. It is an invitation to reimagine the way you hold trauma that you are witnessing. A steward of trauma is someone who intentionally cares for themselves while caring for others. It means showing up with presence while knowing what is yours and isn't yours to carry. It means building practices that sustain your nervous system instead of absorbing the pain until you collapse under it. And let me tell you, I wish this is something that I had really, truly understood much earlier in my career. So, when I was working as a mental health therapist in my very first years, everything felt heavy. I was constantly searching new job postings, convinced that the issue was the workplace or my caseload. And I thought if I found just the right team or the right role, I would finally feel lighter and things would feel better. But no matter where I worked, I did a few different jobs. I dreaded walking into my office and seeing that tiny blinking light on my phone telling me I had a new voicemail. And when I would see that blinking light, my nervous system would go straight into panic. And my mind would race around, is it an upset parent? Did a client have a crisis? Has there been a hospitalization? Is it something I didn't see coming? And my body reacted as if that blinking light itself was something dangerous. And that's how my day usually started. So by the time that I got home at the end of the day, I felt spent and I had very little left over for the people in my life. And I would often say, I am so drained. I am just emotionally tired. And I meant it. And even though I wasn't at work, my mind still would be looping through client stories, worrying, analyzing, replaying of what I should have done differently, how things went. And the thing is this work never really left my body. I knew I couldn't sustain in this work going at that pace. And things really shifted for me when I attended a workshop on vicarious trauma. So for the first time, someone actually named what I was carrying. And I wasn't just getting the same old, sayings of watch out for burnout. These are the signs. In this workshop, the facilitator actually addressed the reality of what happens when we hold other people's pain day after day. And she used a phrase that I will never forget. This workshop was so transformative for me. She used the term trauma stewardship. There's also a book with the same title, and I would highly recommend it. So the word steward was a mindset shift for me. And it reframed my identity from a helper who needs to be endlessly strong and, put together, to someone who could carry stories with care and at the same time care for myself. So stewardship, that word, implies a responsibility and a privilege. And it gave me permission to actually care for myself while caring for others. It was like it was my duty now to care for myself. So I knew I had to care for myself. And like many of us, I tried the standard approach and I went to therapy. But because I was at the time, I was also a therapist myself, it was really hard for me to turn off the analyst in my head. And I found myself almost evaluating her interventions or questions, and instead of actually feeling anything. And I found myself caught in those analytical loops. So, overthinker right here, And so it wasn't until I shifted into body based practices like yoga and meditation and mindfulness that something significantly changed. And it seemed like I could literally feel my nervous system untangling and finally allowing my system to process all that I had been holding. And I realized that this vicarious trauma wasn't just in my head, it was stored in my body. And so years later, when I've discovered EFT tapping, I was so taken by it because I felt like it was really the missing link. So it works on both the mind and the body in calming the nervous system and helping to clear the mind so that you're able to kind of figure out what's yours and what isn't yours, and ultimately expanding your capacity to hold space for others without getting swept up by their story or even into their pain. When I think about that earlier version of myself, the exhausted, the overwhelmed, and convinced I needed to change jobs, I wish I could tell her it's not about escaping, it's about capacity. And that you can learn to feel deeply without drowning or running away. You can witness pain without becoming consumed by it. You can be a steward of trauma without abandoning yourself. And that it's not only about logically figuring it out, but it's also about releasing it from your body. If any part of this resonates with you, maybe you've been carrying too much too. So ask yourself and let me know in the comments, what would change if you honored yourself as a steward of trauma instead of just as a helper? And would your relationship to your work shift if you tended to your nervous system as much as you tend to your analytical mind? I'd love to know what you think, because this work matters and so do you. And if you're ready for more support, I'd love to walk alongside of you. I offer my program for one-on-one work. It's called the Grounded Clinician. It's an 8-week program for helpers or mental health professionals who want to expand their capacity and show up with more presence without burning out. Links are below if you feel called. And thank you for the work that you do. Thank you for the stories you hold. Thank you for being here. And please just give this video a like so that other mental health professionals can feel supported by you. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel so that we can continue to build this online community of support for each other. Thank you for being here, and I will see you in the next video.